Okay, let me welcome everybody to the final briefings of the summer workshop. Now, since you haven't gone through the fall workshop, you don't know that in many respects this is really the middle of the simulation. In other words, we're going to take these same bills and we're going to be in the same groups and we're going to look at these programs again through the fall semester. So in the summer, our focus has been understanding the issue, the problem, and particularly the scientific aspects of the problem, as well as the relationship of the problem to the solution proposed in these statutes. And we've worked on trying to communicate these complexities to non-scientific decision makers. And that's really been the work of our summer, also learning how to work together, try not to kill each other, things like that, which are very useful group management techniques. It's never good to be in a group where people are fighting with each other, especially physically. So a certain amount of conflict can be functional. There is a point at which we prefer it to stop, and I haven't heard of any need to call in security for any of these group meetings, so I want to thank you for your aura of cooperation. In the fall semester, what we're going to do, just to give you a preview, is we're going to take these same statutes and assume they've been enacted and plan for the implementation of the programs starting in January. In a sense, the pivot after this semester is you go from doing a lot of environmental science with some policy to basically being in a public policy program where hopefully you won't forget the science you learned and it will influence the way you think about the public policy issue that you're in the midst of. The environmental issue is one that requires scientific literacy, and many of our colleagues at other universities doing environmental policy do not require the level of environmental science we require here. Often what you see, in fact, is the opposite. You have environmental science faculty adding a little bit of public policy to their curriculum, and so the field tends to be dominated by scientists with a little bit of policy as opposed to policy people with a little bit of science. Obviously, I'm interested in the policy people with a little bit of science, which is what you guys will be. Now, right now, it doesn't feel like a little bit of science because you've been spending so much time on it, but you will see a very different look to your curriculum when you return after the summer break that will come up in very shortly. So today, one of the things I'd like you to think about as you approach the final briefings is how much more about these issues have you learned over the summer? How much more about these programs have you learned about over the summer than you knew the day after Memorial Day when you arrived here? I think that this learning by doing process where you get in the midst of groups and you work on specific products is really an incredibly useful learning process. And I think you're going to see that today. So with that, let me ask Professor Rosen's briefer to come forward, and let's begin.